Good afternoon. Your name, please?
George Jarrett,
And you are full-time, part-timer?
full-time history professor.
Thank you. What are your qualifications that you feel would bring substance to the union?
So I'm running for member at large full-time, and my qualifications include service to the union currently as secretary and previously as co-chair of communications. I've served under 4 presidents now of the union. No, 5 presidents of the union. So I've had some experience, not just doing the secretary sorts of things, but also on the negotiations committee. I've been in negotiations for parts of 3 different rounds, and all the way through the last round. And before I was a history grad student, I was a community organizer. And as a historian, I study social movements, and I really see unions as social movements. So that's the extra bit of qualification I bring.
Thank you. On this campus, there seems to be a lack of equity between the full-time and the part-time faculty. It's a big issue. How do you define equity, and what are your plans as a full-timer to address the issue?
Fundamentally, equity means equal pay for equal work. And I think we've taken a great step towards that in our last couple of contracts in terms of increasing the pay that part-timers receive, and in the most recent contract, not only that, but addressing inequity in terms of pay for classroom faculty who had higher, certain amount of education. We're not getting rewarded for that. And now we calculate the pay on the instructional schedule for part-timers is based on a number taken from the full-time. So anytime there's going to be an increase or change in the full-time, it'll be also applied to the part-time. So that's where we are. Where we need to go is increase that number. Right now, the parity factor is not the same as parity, so we need to increase that. Of course, that also includes access to benefits, which we've made a great first step in this contract with the ability of some part-timers to apply for reimbursement for medical and dental costs. And then the third aspect that I think is really important that I'll address right now is rehire rates. So we were able in the previous contract and to really continue in this contract to ensure that part-timers who have a certain amount of experience here are able to have some stability in that if the college still needs people to teach those classes, they will get those classes ahead of people who don't have seniority at the college. And I think that's really critical as well.
Thank you. On our campus, the CCFF represents both the full-time and the part-time faculty. There are some individuals that feel that the part-time faculty are not real full members of the CCFF community. How do you bridge that gap where both full-time and part-timers feel that they are on equal footing in this campus?
Well, this really gets to the heart of why I'm running as part of the Unity slate. Like I said, I've been part of this union for a long time, but what I've seen change quite a bit in the last 2 years has been the active leadership of part-time faculty in the union. So we've had part-timers on the executive board before, we've had part-timers participate to some degree in union activities, but what I've seen in the last 2 years is part-time faculty leading, and I think that we don't have equity unless we have part-time leadership. And I think it's really important that those leaders who developed and stepped forward in the last 2 years get the chance to continue, and that we don't just vote them out of office and replace them with somebody else, least of all replacing part-timers who are currently on the board with full-timers. That doesn't make sense to me.
Thank you. In your opinion, as a full-timer, were you a part-timer in the past?
I was, yes.
What issues did you feel needed to be addressed when you were a part-timer?
Well, I'll speak more generally. I mean, it's been a few years since I was a part-timer, but I do think it's important if you have that experience to reflect on it. But what I see as an issue right now, or in addition to the things I've already mentioned, I think it's fundamental that part-time faculty get full participation in decision-making on this campus. So that includes decision-making in the union. It includes participation in shared governance and Senate. We do have 2 part-time at-large representatives on the Senate. Other colleges allow part-timers to represent faculty in all positions in the Senate. Other colleges have pay for part-time participation in shared governance committees. I think that's something we need to move toward. Other colleges may also compensate part-time faculty for doing other activities like student advising, and we have just recently won pay for, although not enough, but limited pay for participation in department and division meetings. So I think those are good steps in the right direction, but equity means that everyone on campus who's teaching has an equal say in what goes on here, and that's what I think we should be moving towards. The other issues I think other people have already addressed, but getting paid enough to actually be able to continue this career and have a decent life is fundamental, and having security and stability in your schedule. So maintaining those rehire rights, following up on grievances, making sure that evaluations of part-time faculty are fair and the procedure is followed properly, that people are not being arbitrarily dismissed, and so on. So those are the big ones.
Thank you. Was there anything else that you wish to add?
Yeah, well, I encourage you to vote for whoever you think is best qualified for the office, but I especially hope you'll consider the members of the Unity slate. Thank you.